So whenever.
Yes, what is up? What is up, everyone, and welcome to Top Deck Kings, the 15th most listened to podcast about Hearthstone on iTunes. I am your host and legendary player Tell. Also with me today, due to technical difficulties, special guest co-host Darren, who streams under Crouton. That's Crouunton on Twitch. Darren, what's going on?
Hey. Listen, guys, it's been a pain in the ass getting this going, but ready to go.
We have had a myriad of technical difficulties this morning, but also with me today is longtime friend Steven. What's going on, buddy?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm solid. What's up? How's it going, Tell?
Doing pretty good, man. Today we have got a lot of stuff to discuss. We've got the Tavern Brawl. We've got the new ladder reward system. We've got spoilers. We've got a ton of stuff to get to. So, start things off by Darren. How was your week going, man? What happened to you this week? What's going on the stream? What's going on with the laddering? How are things going?
So things are going great now, but the week initiated awfully. Yesterday, I would say the day before, when I went to bed, I was done. I wasn't going to finish in the season. 15 was good. Whatever. We'll go to TGT. I was done. I woke up. I said, all right, I'm going to go face Paladin. I'm going to go hard. I'm going to handle the swings, see where it goes. I went from rank 18 to rank 6 in one session. We were talking about 24
So how much
hours.
sleep have you had, Darren? Just
None in 30 so hours, give or take.
Is miserable.
Not yet.
I think it's worth it if you can get 12 ranks and not get any sleep. I think that's a sacrifice that you should be willing to take.
Yeah, so I'm borderline diminishing returns right now. I'm at 10, but I'm moving forward. So, second win.
Nice. Steve, what about you, man? What's been going on?
And I had a pretty good week. Did the deck challenge. I've been trying out Mallylock. Having a whole lot of fun with that. It's definitely a difficult deck to pilot. I haven't really climbed the ladder very high. I've been super busy with work and like everything that's going on at home, and haven't had a whole lot of time for Hearthstone this week. But for what time I did spend playing, I had a good time. So.
Yeah, I was watching you play a few games of Mallylock before the show, and like the long intermission, we had about a 2.5 hour delay, so we were playing some Mallylock together, and it seemed to be a pretty fun deck to watch, pretty fun deck to play. I don't know, I'm kind of interested in it. I wish I had a Malagos, I'd probably make it.
I would too, for sure. I was just saying that. I would go Zulok so hard right now. I mean, it's dominant.
What do you think about it as a whole? Do you think you could take that up the ladder? Do you think that that's your ladder deck for this season? Do you want to try and get there with Mallylock, or do you think that that's too ambitious?
If
I don't know.
I was... Sorry. Go ahead, bud.
All right. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think basically it's going to be strong later in the ladder. I just don't think that it's going to do well early, just because there's so much face hunter. There's so much pally aggro. Like, I don't know. And I don't know. It definitely has the bounce back quality, but it's so difficult to pilot, especially against straight up aggro. If you make it like past their early game push, you're gonna win. But I don't know. It's kind of rough, man. It's difficult to play. The only redeeming factor of it is it's a whole lot of fun. I don't know if I can pilot it all the way, even to the lower ranks, under 10 or anything. But I enjoy playing it, so I'll probably dirtle around at the lower ranks with it. So.
Nice. Uh, yeah, it'll be a fun deck. I mean, maybe take an aggro deck up a little bit higher. That's actually what I've been playing this week is aggro pally. I took a page out of Darren's book and tried out some aggro pally, and I had an insane run the first day that I played it, man. Went 15-2 at one point, and just decimated the ladder. I was at like 15 0 stars, and like in that session went up to like almost rank 9. Little bit of back and forth since then. I think I'm back to about 11, 10, somewhere in that range. But I really like Aggro Pally. I'm going to try and take that up a little bit on the ladder and see how that goes. It's a fun deck, and it's a very efficient deck, and I just like the aggro play style, man. Just getting in there and getting some damage in and busting out DPS, man. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, if you don't mind, um, I think when people ask me about it, the biggest thing I can tell them is that the swings are real, right? And they're serious. You're gonna swing. A perfect example. Last season, I had 3 swings in one 30-hour session. I went 9 to 2, 2 to 9, 9 to 1, 1 to 6.
Wow, those are huge swings.
Huge. And the thing is, you win fast, you lose faster.
Yeah. Yep. So the Tavern Brawl this week. It took place at the SI7 mansion. Every minion had a death rattle to summon a minion, which cost 2 less than it. Kind of like Piloted Shredder on every minion, which made Piloted Shredder pretty good because it summoned 2 drops. It felt like a very constructed format. Like it felt like you could just take pretty much any like random constructed deck into this. I mean, there's some cute stuff with like Baron Rivendare and stuff like that, but mostly this just kind of felt like bring your constructed deck to this and see how it works out. What do you guys think? Did you all play a lot of the brawls this week?
I don't really think I agree with you exactly. I think that you could take a constructed deck and tune it for this. I think that like because of the death rattles for all of your creatures, you want to take out a lot of spells and plug as many creatures as you can. That's why I didn't test it out. Like I said, I didn't have a whole lot of time to play this week, but I think that Mech Mage might have done pretty well just because there's innately so many creatures in there. I did have luck with Ramp Druid. I took out some of the spells and just mainly just jammed in a whole bunch of minions. But I mean, basically, you're just flooding the board with as much as you can every turn, and you know, on average, you're just going to overwhelm your opponent because you're playing creatures that replace themselves, etc. What did you think about it, Darren?
Honest opinion, I was underwhelmed. Okay, now I did not take full advantage of the meta. I did not build a super Baron, um, mega death rattle take advantage of build. I just threw something together that had all minions, basically, right? And I won 6 out of 7, right?
That's good.
Yeah, it, it was fine. And I played a bunch of different classes. Sorry about the clicking. But I played a bunch of different classes. I think that if I had actually sat down and put together a killer build, I could run the gamut, all week. But there's the thing about the Tavern Brawl is, um, unlike what we're getting in rank now, which we're gonna get to later, but there's no tiered rewards. You get your pack, and everything else is just lulz, fun, right?
Yeah.
So why take the time to actually analyze the meta when getting your pack, a blind person could do it, mashing buttons eventually, right?
Sure,
You're
I
gonna
see
get
what
it
you're
1 out of 10.
The thing that I really like about Tavern Brawl is I like to do my daily quest in it. I think it's more fun than playing casual mode with a deck that I'm not very good with. I'd rather take a deck that I'm not very good with into the Tavern Brawl and get my dailies done that way. And it's just a little bit more entertaining than just like playing casual mode against you never know what you're going to play against in casual mode. So I like the Tavern Brawls just basically to get the daily quest out of the way. This week I played Handlock in it, which was pretty awesome. I'm not a very good handlock player, so I'm not going to say that I just decimated people, but it let me get some practice in with a deck that I haven't played a whole lot. The downside is that Molten Giant doesn't trigger anything because there isn't an 18 drop minion in the game, but Mountain Giant brings out Deathwing or Sea Giant, which is pretty powerful. I struggled a little bit in the beginning, and then I added in double mind control tech just because so many people were playing so many minions, and that kind of I wouldn't say I broke the meta, but I think I won 5 out of 6 or something like that after I lost a couple in the beginning. So it was pretty.
Yeah, I think Mind Control Tech and Sea Giants. Like, if you have two Mind Control Techs, two Sea Giants, I mean, that's a good start for any deck, and you can pretty much play any class with a whole bunch of creatures and make it work.
Well, I didn't really want to play Sea Giants because I was playing double Hellfire, double Shadow Flame to try and just like keep the board clear all the time. But
But
yeah,
there's so many cool 8-drop minions that you get off of that, and regardless, you're having a reduced cost 8/8. So I mean, I think it's good no matter what.
got
Like, plus they're probably going to be playing a whole bunch of whole bunch of minions, and you're going to be playing a whole bunch of minions. So like, I mean, there's going to be a point in the game where you're going to get an 8/8 for really cheap, and it's going to replace itself with a 8-drop minion, which I mean, those options are pretty good. So I mean, I don't know. It was really fun. Like, it's the creative space. Like, that's what the Tavern Brawl is designed for. It's not meant to be
Absolutely.
competitive. It's meant to be relaxed and fun. And you know, I think it's great. I think they hit another home run with this.
Could you imagine Shadow Flaming a Sea Giant into Kel'Thuzad?
No, even better into
That would be
Tyrion.
the Stone Cold Nuts or Tyrion, but
Yeah.
Kel'Thuzad's more funny because then you get your Sea Giant back.
That would be good. Wow, that would be epic.
Yeah.
I mean, so much. Like I said, it's so creative. Like, there's epic things that you can do in Tavern Brawl, like with each new evolution of it, that you can't do in regular constructed. It's so fun. Like, I really enjoy this, and it appeals to a different type of person. I think I'm that person. So
Yeah. So I don't want to knock it. I totally enjoy the brawl. I enjoy having a change every week. I just wish there was more of a material motivation to dig into the meta outside of general curiosity. Just because with the rank play, I don't have the time for just a pure fun factor more than a warm up every day. You know what I mean?
No, I was
yeah,
saying
yeah,
you don't have the
absolutely.
time from a man who streams 100 hours a week.
Holy fuck. Yeah, hey, no, I don't, dude.
All right. So we got some big news this week. One of the biggest things, and it's really a bummer that Salty couldn't be here to talk about this because it's funny. It was exactly what he was asking for in his week one rant, which was getting rewards for getting to rank 5. Like, basically, the rewards stop at rank 5. So Blizzard gave him exactly what he wanted, and he's not here to talk about it. So basically, what's going to happen now is at the end of the season, I think a lot of people, including Salty, were complaining that they weren't getting any incentive to go up the ladder. That they bust their ass all month, and that they at the end of the month they get the card back the same way as the guys who play 5 games and get to 20 and get the card back. So from now on, they're going to be giving out golden cards, a little bit of dust. It goes up the higher you peak on the ladder. After rank 5, they start giving you additional benefits and gold cards. They give you a little bit of extra dust, but rank 5 is pretty much where it peaks off at. The examples we saw online were at 17, they gave out 2 golden commons. At rank 5, they gave out 2 golden commons and a golden epic. Both of them gave out a very small amount of dust, like 5 or 10 dust or something like that. But getting to rank 5 and getting free golden commons and golden epics every month is going to be pretty sweet. I think I can pretty consistently get to rank 5 every month, and that kind of puts the pressure off. I kind of feel like I just want to get to 5 now and then play some fun stuff in the game.
So are we sure that it caps at 5?
Yeah, it doesn't cap at 5. They give you, but they don't give you any additional like.
It's diminishing returns.
What? Not really diminishing returns. So along the way they give you more gold cards or better gold cards like the higher you get up. At rank 5, they just start adding a little bit of extra dust for 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you're not going to get a whole lot better rewards after rank 5. Is what I've been under the impression of. That's kind of what was written in the notes.
Well, from where I sit, I'm still pushing for Legend every time. Now,
Well, sure.
the first.
I think it's good though. I mean, like Tell said, Salty was complaining about this, and you know, it does feel bad when you've struggled the entire month and you don't get anything out of it. I think this is a way to give back to the people who are actually like working hard at this game, and yeah, I think it's cool.
And it's small, it's not a huge benefit, but I mean, everybody likes gold cards. I mean, that's fun. Gold cards are awesome.
My first thought, just to top this off, when I my first season, I got to like 9, right? Not knowing what I was doing, just really learning. But when I got to 9, I felt, God, I put so much time into this, and I could have just been like hit 20 and learned in a real casual manner. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have the same reward. And I said, why, after all this time it's been out, are there not tiered rewards? And then all of a sudden, tiered rewards. It's, it makes sense. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, Blizzard definitely has their community tuned in. They're listening to what people are saying, even though there's a lot of, BS put out there into the internet world. But they filter it. They listen to what people are saying, and they implement what they think is good for
The,
their games. I
the
think they do
core.
a great job at that.
And the nice thing about Hearthstone versus WoW, not to get on a tangent, but the core in this game seems to be the hardcore.
Yeah.
To an extent, right? Anybody who's getting ranked past 15, I would say is relatively hardcore putting that amount of time in. Past that is crazy. Us.
That's the a hardcore, not like I feel like we see more hardcore players. Me and you are both very active on Twitter. We hang out with a lot of hardcore players. I mean, you stream, I do the podcast, I listen to a ton of podcasts. I mean, the hardcore players are just maybe a lot more vocal. There probably are a lot of casual players, but I don't really see anybody getting upset with this. I mean, I guess the only like thing that people could say is, oh, the rich get richer. People that get to rank 5 every season are now going to get extra stuff, and we're not going to get
Well,
anything extra. But even at rank 17, like you get a gold card. I mean, quit whining.
yeah, it's not going to be. Look, you can take. I can tell you from experience, my first deck, Sylvanas was the first legendary I had constructed for my first deck, first season. I got to like 8 as a priest. I felt great about it, and I did. My deck sucked. No boom. I had nothing. I didn't know anything, you know.
Yeah.
And I still felt like I was competitive, and I knew, give me a couple months, give me some packs, give me some cards, give me some dust. It's gonna change. And now I'm knocking on the door legend.
Yeah. Yeah, let's get there. So another exciting thing that happened this week was the joust mechanic got added into the game. The way this works is kind of wonky. The game pick whenever you play a card that has the joust on it, it says battle cry. Each player reveals a random card from their deck. It pulls 2 random cards out for each player. The one with the highest casting cost wins the joust. There's not really a downside to losing the joust. You just don't get the bonus. But like for example, Gadget Zan Jouster is a 1/2 for 1. When he comes into play, you joust. Both players pull out a card from their deck. If you win the joust, then it gets
A
plus
minion.
1/1 and becomes a 2/3 for 1. Plus, it gives you a little bit of information about what your opponent's playing very early. It gives you some idea of what's going on. I mean, if you win the joust, that's a pretty strong start to not only get a 2/3 for 1, which is Zombie Chow with no drawback, but you also get to have a little bit of an idea of what they're playing. One card gives you a lot of information about your opponent's deck. So I kind of like Gadget Zan Jouster. I don't know if it's going to see any play in Constructed, but it's a cool arena card. It could see play in some kind of wonky deck. What do you guys think?
I don't think that this. Okay, so I think what they're trying to do here is they're incentivizing players to play higher costed minions and thus pushing away from the aggro. I just think that the aggro strategies are going to be still good, especially against this strategy. So like, okay, so you're
Yeah.
winning joust, but like, okay, so I'm already killing you on turn 4 or 5. Like,
Yeah.
good job. Yeah, congratulations, you're still dead.
How'd that 2/3 work out for you, buddy?
Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's a neat mechanic, but I don't think that it's going to work out very well unless you can find ways to cheat mana, which has always been good. Now, I mean, if you can put minions in your deck that are going to actually cost less than they say, such as the what is it,
Mech
volcanic?
Warper,
Volcanic Drake.
Yeah, volcanic
buddy.
Drake. Also,
Pine Scythe.
sea giant, mountain giant, any of those giants, those are going to be great if you can, actually cheat them out later in the game, because they're going to provide you value, like not only when you play them, but also as the random minions that come out of your deck when you're jousting.
Yeah, I love
So,
that.
I mean, it's gonna create this, you know, interesting building mechanics. It's gonna definitely change up the game, and definitely mix up the meta. So, I mean, I think it's fun. I don't think it's really gonna accomplish what they want. I don't think that it's gonna push people away from aggro, but it's definitely gonna mix things up. It'll be fun.
I think fun is the word, indifferent. And I think at some point you're going to find a balance that may or may not involve it at all. Maybe it'll involve it in late game, late rank. It's going to be hard to tell until we really get our hands on everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so let's go ahead and move into the spoilers. Salty picked out some cards for us today, but since he's not here, me and Steve are going to share off spoiling some of the ones that he wanted to spoil. It was already written down in the show notes. So, Steve, go ahead and start us off with Charged Hammer.
Okay, so Charged Hammer is a 4 mana equipment for, weapon for a shaman. Yeah. It's a 2/4, 2 attack, 4 durability, death rattle. Your hero power becomes.
That's not a death rattle. That's just all the time while the weapon's out.
What?
That's just the text on the card. As long as the weapon's out, that's your hero power. It's not a death rattle.
Yeah. It's persistent.
Hero power becomes deal 2 damage?
Yeah, your hero powers deal 2 damage as long as you have that weapon equipped, not a death rattle.
Okay, I'm looking at the HearthstoneBlizzPro.com spoiler, and it says Death Rattle, your hero power becomes deal 2 damage.
Oh, did I get this wrong?
I'm pretty sure that.
How does that work?
That's gonna be legit.
So one time?
I might have been the one that wrote this down wrong. Let me look and see.
It's all good. Okay, so anyway.
Your hero power becomes deal 2 damage. Yeah, spicy. Sorry, my bad. I wrote it down wrong on the notes. I was looking at the notes and I had it down wrong.
I have a question though.
Okay. So you got a 2 damage weapon that's going to last you 4 turns, and you're also going to be able to shock something for 2 damage when it goes away. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Shaman anyway. I'm sure Salty might have a different take on this, but as he's not here to talk about it, I think it's gonna be slow. Like, it's kind of grindy, and again, I think aggro is gonna overpower this kind of strategy. So
it's a little slow, and you've already got a 2 mana 2/3 weapon. And like, how much of a bonus is the death rattle? Your hero power becomes deal 2 damage. I mean, aren't they like really pushing totems right now? Like, why are we not wanting to make totems? Like, I guess that's a benefit, but I don't know. What do you think, Darren?
I'm wondering, so that it's a one-time 2 damage deal?
No. That's what your hero power becomes all the time after it death rattles.
So what I'm thinking is, I know I've seen other cards that modify hero powers. So what you have to consider is, how does that synergize with any other card potentially?
I mean, it's a control card, I guess. If you can lock down the board and hold it off, I mean, if they don't destroy your weapon, which why would they? Because they don't want you to get that hero power. I mean,
in and of itself.
Attacking with it on 4, attacking with it on 5, attacking with it on 6, attacking with it on 7. On turn 7, our hero power becomes deal 2 damage. Like, that feels awful. Like, I don't like this card at all.
If it's a deterrent, though, I mean, if it makes them question destroying it, at that point, you can buff it, right? Greenskin. I mean, we have ways of modifying durability.
Sure.
I mean, I'm just saying, in the realm of possibility, it's one card, one weapon, but I would need to see everything. I need to see the synergy before I can really judge one card.
Even if you could destroy it yourself somehow. Okay, so you're using one
Which
card
you
to play
can.
this deal
Change a
on
weapon.
4, and then you're destroying it somehow. That's another card, and then now your hero power can deal 2 damage. Okay, so you can't get random totems, but now you can deal 2 damage, which is powerful. But like you've wasted 2 cards, a whole bunch of time. You know, like it's just too slow. Like it's too slow.
Yeah, it seems glacier slow and not that good. I mean, I don't want a 2/4 weapon on 2 to begin with. I don't
I
care
mean,
that much about the
if your
depth
hero
level, but
power can deal 2 damage to minions, like that's good. Like the problem is, like nobody plays Shadow Form. Nobody plays what is that hunter card that does it? The 2/3.
The Steam Wheel Sniper.
Yeah, I mean nobody plays those cards because they're just too slow. They're not. I don't know.
In fairness, like this is like a little bit better in that it just stays that way. It doesn't ever go away. I mean,
Yeah,
Steam
but the
Whittle
setup
Sniper is like
cost is
easily
still there.
distant, but the setup cost is it's just astronomical. Like,
It's going to
0.7,
require
like,
synergy. Not that it rob, but I know there's going to be ways to have unlimited hero power per round, and maybe that 2 damage can get buffed somehow with another card. There's a lot of maybes.
Yeah.
I'm not totally going to dismiss it as is.
Okay, well, we've already seen Garrison Commander, which lets you hero power twice on each turn. Kaldara Drake for Mage lets you hero power as many times as you want. I don't know if they'll give one to every class to let them hero power as much as they want, but I could see it being good if we had a Garrison Commander and got to shoot around 2 damage every turn. It's just so slow. Like, it's just like, ugh.
I mean, why is it slow? Is this you can swap weapon immediately, get your death runner if you want that.
Yeah, but that's on turn 5. Like on turn 5, our hero we swapped weapons and gave ourselves a Doom Hammer, overloaded ourselves. Like,
I mean, why is it turn 5? Is there any? I guess
the weapon costs 4 to cast. Like, you can't play it on 4 and then swap another free weapon out.
Well, yeah, I guess there's no way to reduce.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, we'll see. There might be some like abstract, strategy that comes out of this with cards that we haven't seen. But
Right.
I mean,
what if?
We'll see how it goes. The next card on the list is that we wanted to talk about was Confuse, which is a priest card for 2 mana, and it says swap the attack and health of all minions. Okay, so obviously this is sideboard against Shaman, right? Which is destroying the meta right now, right? Right, guys?
Yeah, I could see that. If Shaman does start wrecking the meta, then Confused could be the card. But I know Saltooth liked this card. He was really excited about it and really wanted to talk about it.
All minions
he picked for this week. I hate this card. It's a 2 mana card. It has no impact on the game. It's a late game finisher when you've got a board full of guys with big butts that you want to like swing in with. But if you've got a board full of guys,
I think
with
that's
big
the
butts,
only potential.
no, but like even if you have a board full of guys with big butts, like you're winning the game. Like you don't need Confused. Like just grind it out. Like why are we playing a 2 mana card that has 0 impact on the game at all until a finisher? Which if you're that far ahead in Priest in the late game, then you're already won. Like good day. I don't like this card.
Out of context, I agree. I just feel like, and it's probably gonna be the same argument for everything. 130 plus cards. We've seen how many? I'm just saying.
About 50 by now.
Right. So not even half.
Yeah.
I'm not one to say that these could all be garbage, or they could all have some pretty cool synergy in unexpected ways. But out of context, sure.
That is legitimate though. Like I think the only use for this card is going to be if you can set up some kind of board state where you have a whole bunch of like big butt guys, and then in one turn you play this card and swing all out and kill them. But I mean, like, you just have to have so much of the right stuff happen that game that, like, I agree. Like, you can't afford to have that confusion in your hand the whole game and wait for it just for that one turn. Like, you're gonna lose games because you're playing that card as opposed to winning them that one turn, in the right situation.
And can you think there's not a 0% chance that like this helps you at all in some like I mean there are going to be 25-30% of games where like this card hurts you to play it, like where your opponent, like you got a druid against you, like you don't want to give him like big stuff. Like I mean, even if you're playing the mirror, like now you've got a card that like just makes your opponent's deck better when you cast it. Like
So you can swap a 5/10 taunt for a 10/5.
Yeah, I mean, sure, it's not as good, but I mean, like, it, in some games, like, there's going to be situations where you don't want to cast this card, where it's going to hurt you to cast this card. I feel like it's going to be a dead card in a lot of games. I feel like it's going to be a marginal card in a lot of games, and I feel like it's going to be a good card in a very few amount of games. It's just really inconsistent. Like,
It's gonna be kitschy probably, but maybe it might lend to a faster priest deck.
Aggro priest.
But hey man, it's there. Maybe it could get better.
Sure.
Not to mention like negative synergy with Light Bomb and Death Lord. And
I was thinking Light Bomb. I mean, there's things to consider.
I just don't think it's there. I mean, like the whole thing about priest, even though there is an aggro priest that does exist, I mean, like for all of the classes, you're playing toward the hero power. That's why hunter is generally very aggressive. That's why priest is generally very defensive because of their hero power. It's something that's consistent. Out of your 30 cards that you put in your deck, you're not always going to get the cards that you need in the right order, but you're always going to have that hero power. So you need to play toward that. I don't know. Like, I don't think that this is gonna make another aggro priest like that's gonna be even better. It's just I don't know.
It makes me want to develop one when I get the cards.
It's really catchy.
Yeah. I think they did a really good job with all of these cards, like trying to inspire people to like build around and make these fun decks. I just don't think it's gonna stick around.
I am done talking about this garbage card. I want to move on to Darnassus Aspirant. I love this card. 2 mana, Druid minion, 2/3, nice body. When you play, gain an empty mana crystal. It's a wild growth on a stick, but when it dies, you lose the mana crystal that you gained. But there's awesome synergy with this card because it comes out of Shredder, and you can mirror entity it. Your opponent gets no benefit from it, and you can take away their mana crystals. So, oh my god, I can't imagine. Like, any game where this gets mirror entityed, like, you just win. Like, they cannot win the game. And this can ramp up so fast. Like, we were talking last week about the aggro druid and druid beatdown. This is going to be a nut card in that. I mean, they have to deal with this on 2, or you're, like, going nuts on 4. We're playing that 5/4. We're playing something beefy on 4. And innervating out a 6-drop. Like, oh god, I just love this so much.
So if you put taunt on that, a silence would keep your crystal.
Oh yeah, silence. You keep the crystal. And I was thinking about this with Wailing Souls. We could see a resurgence of a Wailing Souls deck. Play the 4/5, drop some Wailing Souls. Now we're attacking with a 4/5. We've got a 2/3 that ramped us out. like, just so much exciting stuff. I mean, this curves out perfectly into play the Druid on 2, play Ironbeak Owl and Iron Watcher, Ancient Watcher.
Yeah.
2. Like, I mean, it's just so much spicy stuff that we can do with this card. I just love it so much.
I don't know. I mean, maybe. I think you're reaching for that. I don't think in general you're going to be silencing your own minion. I do think this card is powerful, but I think that for the most part, if you have a silence without wailing, whatever it is, which I don't think belongs in mini decks. I think it's a card that people try to play, but it doesn't work out.
Not yet.
Yeah, well, true. I mean, who knows? But like we are in a world where silence is very important, and wasting a silence on your minion means that you have one less silence to use on theirs. And people are doing powerful things with their minions, and you need those silences to shut down very powerful cards like Shredder and like Sludge Belcher and that kind of thing.
It's a balancing act, right? So, do the benefits outweigh the potential losses of the silence? That would be the question.
But the thing is, like, look, you're in Druid. Like, okay, so once you get up to 9 or 10 mana crystals, who cares if you lose one? Like, right?
We're talking early. We're talking innervate,
game, like, this
drop big.
early game, like the worst thing that happens with this card, that's the amazing thing about this card, is the early game, the worst thing that happens, this card gets dark bombed and you lose it. But they burned a dark bomb on your 2-drop. You made a completely equitable trade, and you're back to the mana that you were supposed to be at anyways, and it doesn't really affect things too much other than they're one dark bomb poorer.
Every time you can force a bad decision, you're one step further to winning that match.
2 mana for a 2/3. So basically 2 mana for a 2/3. Good or bad?
2 mana for
It depends. Do you have two apple throwers on tap? You know, I don't know. It depends.
I think you're right, Tel. I think like the fact that they need to kill it makes it good.
Yeah, it has to be dealt with. Like it's a 2 mana 2/3 that like has to be dark bombed, or like you're just gonna ramp out. Like I mean, you just win.
Yeah. Cool. I like it.
So we have another one of Salty's cards here, the Bolster Warrior spell. It's a 2 mana spell. Give your taunt minions +2/+2. What do we think about this? They're kind of pushing a taunt warrior. They had another card that gave your weapon plus attack for however many taunt minions you had.
Bottom. Sorry.
Is this going to be a deck? TGT? Post TGT?
For me, the way I play,
Period. Are people going to play taunt warrior post TGT?
probably. But if I'm playing any form of aggro deck, it could be a 12/12 taunt. Generally, I'm going to disable it, equality, silence, or, you know, if I had the resources, bust through the first one and move forward.
Yeah, I think the good players are not going to be held back by this card because I mean, like the taunt minions are going to get silenced anyway. So you know, taunt minions that are too bigger just mean they get silenced away. So I don't know.
The one thing I have to say about this is we have really seen the power of a Battle Rage recently with the Patron Warrior that's come out. I mean, that is the bread and butter to that deck to draw a lot of cards. And if there is a if there is a taunt warrior that's coming out that is going to bump up our minions and like keep us alive and let us get some like early battle rages off to get a bunch of spiciness done early, I don't know. It's interesting. They're working on something, and I kind of want to see what they're working on. It's going to be an interesting deck.
I can't believe, just to note what I just said there, that consideration has not been given to reversal of silence in any form.
Yeah.
That
I think it synergizes very well with Dread Corsair. I'm just gonna put that out there. Okay, so Death by Dread Corsair, like next turn, bolster if they didn't kill the Dread Corsair. Like you're just like busting out of the gates real fast. And
Yeah.
that stuff doesn't get silenced. Like you're taking.
Actually, what's the 1/3 that does the 1 damage death rattle? I'm sorry.
Oh, unstable. Ghoul.
Unstable Ghoul.
That
sweet synergy card.
that would be synergy.
Yeah, see that?
Yeah, there's.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it definitely has potential. I just think that silence, like, 2-for-1's used in such a bad way. And I mean, silence is already powerful. I mean, all the good decks have some kind of silence in them now. Like, I just don't. I think you're going to be wasting a card by putting this in your deck.
Okay, so if you give the buff to 1 minion, we're not looking good. If you give it to 2, that's great, I think.
But if you have 2 taunts up already, I mean, I'm screwed. I don't know about you.
Anything more than 2, and this card becomes like just disgusting.
It's game, yeah.
Annoyatron. Okay, so coin.
Yeah.
Annoyatron, second turn bolster. Like that's pretty legit too. It definitely affects the early game. It definitely gives Warrior a lot of strength early game.
There's potential early.
What about Coin Ghoul second turn bolster?
Yes, that's what I'm thinking. Early Ghoul bolster.
All I'm saying is that every deck from here on out is going to have to play 2 Ironbeak Owls. That's all I'm saying.
But even then, you're not guaranteed to have that on turn 3. Or 4 or 5.
The more we talk about this card, the more I see like sweet synergies. Like you said, we've got Annoyatron, we've got Unstable Ghoul, we've got Dread Corsair, we've got Belcher. Like, I mean, that's 8 cards to go into a taunt deck. Maybe Sinjin. Like, I mean, you can really like load up
Yeah.
on taunts and warrior and like really get good value out of this.
You could even the Belcher's Death Rattle. I mean, there's shit
Yeah.
there, you know.
This could be
Yeah.
a real card. I'm kind of scared of this now that we're talking about it. Like, I kind of was on it, but
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I mean, all the good decks have silence in them, but you only have so many silent options unless you're playing specific classes. So maybe you just overwhelm them with like stuff that they need to silence, and because they don't have enough silence options,
yeah.
like, I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about this card.
And like I said, Whirlwind Battle Rage, we start getting some taunts down. We Whirlwind Battle Rage, we drop another taunt, we bolster. Like, I think Whirlwind Battle Rage will be like the bread and butter to this deck if it exists. Like, I think getting a bunch of beefy minions down with taunt early, and then drawing a bunch of cards, and then getting more beefy minions down with taunt, and then bolstering them at some point. Like, this could be scary.
That changes my solemn visual immediately.
So far, I think this is the one that I'm most excited to see how it works. Like, it could be bad, it could be good, it could be great, but I'm excited to see what it does.
Yeah, I'm right there with you, man.
Same.
Go ahead and move us on to Tuskar Jouster, Steve.
Okay, so we talked about the jousting mechanic, and I wanted to bring this one up because I think of all the joust cards, this is actually like the one that I'm the most excited to play. It's 5 mana for a 5/5 in Paladin, and it has Battle Cry, reveal a minion in each deck, which is the joust mechanic. If yours cost more, restore 7 health to your hero. Okay, so I talked about how the joust mechanic is going to incentivize you to play higher cost minions. Now, this minion, not only are you probably going to win the joust with, but you're also playing a late game deck. And this keeps you alive even longer. So let's say you go down, like pretty low. I mean, the Ancient Heal bot is 5 mana for a 3/3 that gains you 8 life, right? And that's all the time. Whereas this one's 5 mana for a 5/5. It's a bigger body and it's slightly less health. But the difference between gaining 8 health and 7 health is minuscule compared to the fact that you're getting a 5/5 instead of a 3/3.
Yeah,
You can take out a.
This card is going to do some work.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited about this card.
You take out your Guardian, one of them.
Best case scenario, though, this is a 5/5 that 70% chance to gain 7 health. Like, there's going to be times you don't gain that 7 health when you need it. And is Healbot, like, is the consistency from Healbot, like, important enough to match up for?
You replace a Guardian of Kings with that.
I mean, you're definitely having to build your deck around this mechanic. I'm not saying that. And who knows? Aggro may just beat down Paladin in such a way to where this is not realistic. But I think that the deck that it goes in, this card is going to perform very well.
Okay, Control Paladin. I've got the season and a half dedicated. I went gold on that build, right? I've done 6 heal builds and down. I'll tell you right now, I will run 2 heal bots, lay on hands, and this for sure.
All right, I'm all for it. Let's heal it up.
Yes, sir.
Anything else to say about this card?
No,
It looks good.
All right, let's close on to a card that Twitter was blowing up about when it got announced. Aviana, 9 mana, Druid Legendary, 5/5. Your minions cost 1. Not only do they cost 1, it has synergy with Thorson. If they've already been reduced by 1, as soon as this hits the board, all the minions that were reduced by Thorson automatically cost 0.
Which means it costs 8 to draw.
Is it good enough?
Yeah. For a Druid. Yeah. I don't see how you could say no.
I mean, okay. The problem with this card is it's a turn 9 play. You have to completely control the board to where you're not dead on, even if you reduce it with Thorson, like, you have to be alive on turn 8, turn 6. Like, best case scenario, you get Thorson out, you innervate into this on turn 7, like, it's a tough putt, and you have to control the board the whole time that you're like trying to get all this stuff down.
That's
And if
what
you're
Druid
innervating,
do.
that's one less card in your hand. The best synergy with this card, I think, isn't going to be like I thought about like Ragnaros, Faceless Manipulator, or something like that. But that's too much stuff to commit to, like not having a curve out. Anyways, I mean, the best case I think would be to Ancient of Lore for 0 mana and draw a couple of cards and play something else. I just it feels so clunky. It's really awkward, and I mean they had to design it this way because it's such a powerful effect. But I
Yeah.
mean this is going to survive one turn, and I don't think you can get enough value out of this in the one turn to really make it good enough. What do you guys think?
I think you can, and I think I don't have the full answer why, but when it's experimented with, I believe there's going to be a balance. I'm not talking dropping all nines in your hand and holding them. I'm talking hedging your bets. Okay? So you're going to be, as a druid, from my experience playing them, controlling anyway. You're going to work towards this, and anything you have left in your hand, if things go right up to that point, you're going to be dropping it all. Right?
You're not playing. Yeah. You're playing this in a deck with Thaurissan.
Yeah.
You're playing very heavy control with Druid, and you're not dropping Thaurissan until you have this and some other like powerful minion in your hand. Now that's asking a lot of setup, but I mean, like if you design the deck right, like I mean, you can go off with this and definitely take advantage of it. I don't know. I mean, it's going to be powerful, but I don't know if it's going to be powerful enough to compete with some of the other powerful things out there. Um, I don't know. Like I said, that's the scenario that you're trying to aim for, but I don't know if you're going to be able to control the board and still save those 3 cards, which the third of which is not important. Like it's going to be one of a number of cards, but it's a combo with 3 cards. It's asking a whole lot.
So if you,
I
let's
think we all
say,
kind of see how this deck's gonna work and like what the list is gonna roughly look like, but I really feel like this card feels a lot like Reincarnate KT and Shaman. Just
yep.
really glacier slow. Like if we get there, we're gonna win, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be hard.
That's why I say you're gonna have to hedge your bets. You're gonna have to play. Take your deck, your ramp deck now. Okay.
I think the 9 mana is best used on what is it? Force of Nature, Savage Roar. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'd rather just Force of Nature Savage.
Unless you have to use some of those cards for control, which happens.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah, but I don't think
2
that
cards
that
less
combo
that are gonna
belongs in the
be.
deck with
Yeah,
this
I don't
minion.
think that
Like
belongs in
it
that
just,
deck either
yeah,
because then you are playing cards that aren't minions that get reduced by
yeah.
Aviana.
Maybe not 2 and 2. That's what I'm saying. Hedge your bets, right? It's gonna depend. I'm speaking
Like
out of my ass a little bit.
a deck built, and I think it will perform well, but I don't think that it'll compete with some of the other powerful in-game combos and stuff like that. I think other decks that are controlling and trying to aim for the late game are going to dominate this deck.
I would take a gentleman's bet that this makes legend in one form or another.
Well, no. It'll make legend at some point. Somebody out there will play a fucking 1,000 games with it and be and get there. Like, sure, but I'm not going to be the one taking it to legend. I'm going to be the one that's frustrated losing against it one time and then really happy when I beat it the other 7 times.
Right. So if I lose to it once or twice, and it's like every time I lose to a ramp druid, it's like, well, congrats on being a druid, right? And getting a good hand.
Yeah.
But if it turns into one of those things where it's like, when I see a Zulok, I say, shit. Maybe I'd be surprised, but maybe not.
Okay, so as a side note, like I'm excited to play Druid after this set comes out, but I am not excited to play this card in Druid. That's my opinion.
Same opinion.
I'm excited to try it. My Druid experience is from the other side, but I'm excited to try it.
I love Druid. I've played quite a bit of Druid. It was the first time I got to rank 5 was playing Druid, and I'm pretty excited about playing Druid again. But I might mess around with this card, but I don't see it as being good. It's hard to say.
It's hard to say.
Let's talk about the deck challenge. Obviously, Crouton didn't have a chance to play the deck challenge with us, and Salty did. However, he's not here to talk about it. So I guess Tell and I will discuss like our experiences with Dragon Paladin.
I
Let
can
me.
talk about how Salty did with it.
I've played this deck before.
For sure. Hey, maybe that's why his sound card wasn't working this morning. Who knows? Okay, so let me read through the list, and then we'll discuss it, and see how we did. Okay, so my Dragon Paladin list was 1 Zombie Chow, 1 Equality, 2 Annoyatron, 2 Shielded Minibot, 1 Sword of Justice, 2 Muster for Battle, 2 Aldor Peacekeepers, 1 Big Game Hunter, 2 Blackwing Technician, 2 True Silver Champion, 2 Consecration, 2 Hungry Dragon, 1 Azure Drake, 2 Dragon Consort, 1 Quartermaster, 1 Emperor Thorison, 1 Dr. Balance, 1 Lay on Hands, 1 Cro-Magnus, 1 Alexastra, and 1 Nefarian. Alexstrasza. I always pronounce that
Still
wrong.
can't say that word.
I know, right? Okay, so let me go ahead, since it was my creation, let me talk about how I did with it. I went, 50-50. I got 5 games won, 5 games lost, and I was playing at rank 17, 16. So, like, it wasn't very successful. And I mean, I still have fun playing the deck, but I've come to realize that it's not super powerful. It's definitely got a lot of powerful cards in it, but the fact that it doesn't have a consistent early game means that it loses to decks that do have a consistent early game on the games that they have their burst DPS. So I don't know, like I said, I did 50-50. It was it was fun, but it wasn't as powerful as I initially thought. So what did you do with this deck, Tell?
I dominated with this deck, but I'm going to preface this by saying that I did sandbag to 20 because it was the beginning of the season. I was at like 18 anyway, so I went ahead and sandbagged to 20 to really win the deck challenge with authority, and I did. I went 8-2. I ranked up 3 times, brought it back up to 17. I had a lot of fun playing this deck. The 2 matches I lost were to a tempo mage that just like completely outgrinded me early, and to a just the craziest rogue you've ever seen. KT Toshley in Rogue, double Belcher. Like it was like and it was like I had him at 5 for like the whole game, and was like sitting with Alex Straza in hand and had 30 life. And so I was like seriously thinking about like Alex Strazaing my own face so that I could
get an 8-8 on the board.
Just to, like, start dealing with some of the shit that he had down. Like it was just such an awkward game. One of the 2 that I lost. I mean, yeah, sometimes you just get out tempo by tempo mage, but I love this deck. It, something about it just like it's clunky. I mean, that's just what it all comes down to. Like there's just like spots where you want to do stuff that you can't do. You want to like get in with some I don't know. I mean, you just can't always do exactly what you want to do with this deck. Like sometimes you want to drop the Dragon Consort to start getting something down, but you're so far behind on board that they're going to beat you back on the backswing, or that they have a profitable trade into getting this down. It just, I don't know, didn't work exactly the way I wanted it to a lot of games. But I mean, just the raw power level in the back end, if you can control the early game, like it just kind of wins. So. Oh, what about you, Steve? What do you think? Like, how did your 5-5 go? Do you remember any games?
Okay, yeah, no, I actually have the stats from it. I lost to Freeze Mage first. I lost to Oil Rogue. Then I won against Control Priest, against Mech Shaman. Lost against Zulok. Actually, I have a story to tell about the Control Priest. It was really cool. So he thought stole from me Zombie Chow and Dragon Consort, which, like, didn't do him any good whatsoever. And I was like, oh my god, that's awesome. And then I Nefarian when I dropped Nefarian on 9, I got a Mind Blast and a Villain's Chosen to win the game with. It was awesome.
That's amazing. I had an awesome Nefarian too. I forgot all about that. But I was playing Druid and got the Dark Whispers, which gives a minion +5/+5 and swipe. I got in for 17 with just the Nefarian the next turn. Made the Nefarian into a 13/13 and swiped his face.
Nice. And then nothing else exciting. I lost. Oh my gosh, I lost to Murloc Warrior. Like, what is that? Is that even a deck?
Seen it once.
I don't know. It beat me. And I won against Freeze Mage and I won against Ramp Druid. So yeah, I mean, like I said, it's powerful, but it's inconsistent early game, and that's the only thing that makes it. You just lose some games,
Yeah. Yeah, I think that about wraps it up. Oh, to talk about how Salty did, he went 0-5 and just about rated my Hearthstone for forever. So I definitely won the deck challenge with an asterisk next to it because I did sandbag my rating back to 20 to win the deck challenge. But I won't be doing that again next week. And next week we're actually going to be playing with Salty's deck. He's got. Also, Darren, you had something to say about adding heals into this? You think?
Yeah, I didn't want to jump in. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
But I long ago, this is one of the first Paladin decks I experimented with. I didn't have Alex Straza. I believe I had a second 6/4 Drake in replacement, which is not awesome. But I did work in heals, and what that gives you is mid to late game durability. And the quartermaster muster combo needs to be discussed in the community as a whole. And it's a different discussion, but you cannot rely on it. In this deck, I really think you're better off working a muster out, maybe one quartermaster, take a muster out, and work in another dragon. Honestly.
I think you're right. After playing it, I think I'm not sure about the muster. I think muster's a strong card on 3. But definitely the quartermaster, just because, like you said, I mean, sometimes you have the quartermaster and you don't have any minions out.
Most of the time.
Yeah.
Another thing.
I mean, I think people play around that too. They don't want you to have a whole bunch of silver.
Everybody knows.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I can see where you're coming from with the quartermaster. Definitely.
Yeah.
We're also like completely lacking silence in this deck. I really wanted an owl, like a lot of games that I played. I really just an owl would have helped so much in so many of the games I played. Also,
no keys.
Noyatron, like it's nice for like stopping their late game threats, but it like staves off aggro a little bit. But against other mid range, like double Annoyatron's kind of clunky. So I mean, I think there's a combination of cutting some number of quartermaster / muster for battle / Annoyatrons to make our way. Maybe give us a little bit slower mid game to put in a Belcher, an
Heal.
Owl,
Healbot
maybe.
Yeah.
Or that new card.
Yeah, or the new card for sure.
Jouster.
Yeah, 5-minute Jouster is getting work done because we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minions, 7 minions that cost 9. I guess actually half of our minions cost 3 or less.
So honestly, you look at Annoyatron, and there's a lot of decks where it's amazing.
Yeah.
But there's also, forgive me not knowing the name, but the 2/5 immune to spell target taunt.
Yeah, arcane something. But yeah,
right. Situational. But if you're gonna run one mech taunt instead of 2 small Annoyatrons, there's something to be said for it. Especially if you could find yourself to work in an Argent Protector, maybe. There's changes that could be made. Sword of Justice slows the whole thing down tremendously.
The name of that card you were talking about is Arcane Nullifier X21.
Thank you. Yes. So if you take out Sword of Justice, you take out Noyatron, maybe both. I mean, we could go into it, but I feel like a 2/5 immune to target is going to be stronger than two Noyatrons any day.
I like what you
Yeah,
said
I
about
think it
Argent
needs
Defender
tweaking.
too.
I
I really
definitely
like
think it needs tweaking, but
I really like Argent Defender in this deck too because like I mean just the late game's insane and if you can get like a dragon down and like taunt it up like that's pretty sweet. Like I don't know. There's something missing. It's hard to say exactly what it is. Like I mean there's a lot of different lists that you could test out with these cards. If anybody out there listening to this like played this challenge and like decided like hey I wanted to sub out this and this and this like send us like your feedback and tell us what you switched out and what you did with it because we'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on how to improve our Dragon Paladin because this will be the Dragon Paladin list until somebody sends us a better one.
I'm going to send you a better one this week.
All right, so moving on. This is Salty's deck. He's not here to read it off for us, so I'll go ahead and read off his deck for us. This is Dragon Warrior. It's a spin-on control warrior. A lot of the same cards, except for a little bit different late game. Steve, you don't have all the cards, so you've made some changes to it. I've got those written down. You can tell us about why you made those changes and how you think they're going to work out, and how much worse do you think it makes the deck with the changes that you made, or if it makes it worse at all. So we've got 2 Executes, 2 Shield Slams, 2 Fiery War Axe, 2 Armorsmith, 2 Cruel Taskmaster, 2 Shield Block, 2 Acolyte. You know, Warrior, all of it. BGH, Deathbite, Brawl. Again, like everything that Warrior always plays. Here's where things start getting a little bit different. We got 2 Blackwing Corruptors, 5 mana, 5/4 that shoots a minion for 3. Very similar to Fire Elemental and Shaman, -1/-1 on the Fire Elemental. It's just it's hard to like lose the game if you get like a decent curve with this deck where you can kill something with a weapon, kill something else with a weapon, Blackwing Corruptor something else. Like I mean, this just gets ahead pretty far. But if you do fall behind, then we're running Belcher after that. Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, Armorsmith behind Belcher
Uh,
is so strong.
And then Thorson, we're going to start reducing the mana cost of some of this late game stuff. He's got 1 Shield Maiden, 1 Sylvanas, 1 Chromagus, 1 Grommash Hellscream, 1 Alexstrasza, 1 Nefarian, 1 Ysera. All right.
okay, so because I don't have Ysera and I also don't have Grommash Hellscream, I made a decision to change out Ysera for Twilight Drake, and I know that seems like a weird pick, but the fact is, as the list stands, there's only 4 dragons in it, and if you take out Ysera, that means 3 dragons. So I needed a dragon, and I was looking at the mana curve, and the 4-drop spot is really low because you only have 2 death spites there. And yeah, so I don't think that Twilight Drake is nearly as powerful in this deck as it is in a lot of the decks that it's played in, but I think it fits as a substitute. As far as Grummash is concerned, of course, like Dr. Balance, like, you know, I don't have the class specific in-game card, so I swapped it out for, you know, Dr.
What about
Balance,
Leroy?
the one that like fits in every single deck. So
Like, why doesn't Leroy work in that spot?
I mean, you're trying to control the game. It's more of an
Yeah.
end game. Leroy is a hugely aggressive card, and if you, yeah, it's just it doesn't fit the same role as
Yeah, I
Grommash, and
like.
neither does Doctor Balance. But it's still a really good card, and in a lot of games, just playing that is going to do some work, regardless.
So how do you feel? Because I'm curious. I don't have. If I want to try this, right? The only thing I don't have is Grommash or Alexstrasza. I agree with the putting in for Ysera. I agree with your replacement. With Grommash, what about Rag? I mean, is that out of the question?
Is Ragnaros a
No,
dragon?
no, Ragnaros is will work just fine. Neither is Grommash, and neither is Doctor Balance. But yeah, that definitely works. Ragnaros definitely
Yeah,
works.
Ragnaros seems good.
So for Alexstrasza, though, I don't think the replacement works as well
You need
with
a
the
dragon.
Drake.
Yeah, the Alex Straza is probably a tough putt to replace in this deck, just because like
Yeah.
you're gonna need to like push that 15 damage across somewhere, and it's a tough replacement. But I mean, you could definitely make some kind of list with this without Alex Straza. It's just not going to be nearly as competitive as the list with.
I mean,
But
I might
Azure
craft
Drake is
it. I really
definitely
want
a
to play
great
this.
dragon, but the problem is you've also got a lot of 5 mana cards in the deck already. So I don't know if it fits. I don't know. Really, Alex Straza is very difficult to replace.
No, it's a linchpin. I think I can't. I really don't think it can be replaced in this deck. Be viable.
Right. Which is the same in Control Warrior. I mean, you need it in Control Warrior as well.
Okay.
yeah, this will be a fun deck. I'm not excited about this experiment. I hate playing control, but it'll be it'll be something. It'll be miserable. I don't like control. I don't like playing slowly. I don't like
Well,
games taking.
maybe Salty will do really well this week, and then you'll do really crappy, and again, I'll sit right in the middle.
I'll be the one that comes back and bitches about going 0 and 5 drop.
It's so slow.
It'll be me, Salty, and Crouton, right?
If I can build Alex Straza, and I might, because I really want to do this.
Yeah, that'll be it. My computer's magically not going to work next week when you guys are talking about me losing with this deck. uh, God, I don't want to play this at all.
I really want to try this. That's how sick I am.
Coming on and helping us record, and giving your 2 cents, and making it work for us. So
Yeah, no problem. I'm getting a kick out of it. So it's good fun, good content.
For sure. In absence of Salty and the lacking of the Salty rant, we have two people giving rants this week. We've got Darren giving Darren's rant and Steve giving Steve's rant. So go ahead and kick it off, Darren, with your rant for the week. What have you got?
All right. So my rant is the week. I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. Let's go back to the end of last season. Okay? I made it to rank 1. My final swing back to 9, I couldn't get past 5 again for the last 2 weeks of last season. So I ended up, my bonus stars were horrible going into the first week of this season. Okay, fine, whatever. Now, the first week of this season, I just didn't know what to do. Face Paladin got me to rank 1 in the first 2 weeks of last season, right? As soon as I dropped into Face Paladin saying, okay, I know the meta shifted, but it's early, let's see, I dumped back to 20. And I said, I'm not going to be vulgar, but I got emo for a minute, right? I was like, all right, things got to change. So I went straight Control Paladin, heal, the whole deal, my old school build, right?
Nice.
Right. But it's slow. You're talking literally sometimes 30 plus round matches. So when you lose, you're still losing in card death, right? When you win, you're still winning in card death. It's slow. So the swings, right? You're still gonna have your 60-40.
fun at all.
Right. It's fun in its own way. I enjoy the problem solving, but at that level, it's not problem solving. You're playing silly decks, and it's just not compatible, right? So you're not doing 60-40 or better. You're really doing 40-60, not in your favor, sometimes 50-50. At best, you're going to linger, right? Which I did for most of the week. So then I went Tempo Mage. I said, all right, I'm not going to go Face Paladin. It didn't work. It was a mess. Tempo Mage. Tempo Mage, okay, got a rank, dropped 3, got a rank, lingered. All right, so I'm going to go Control Mage. Linger, drop.
Grinder kind of control mage.
What's that?
Were you playing freeze mage or like a grinder kind of control mage?
It was a grinder control mage, kind of a mid-range control.
Okay.
I also went dupe freeze. That was the first one I tried, and that was so friggin' slow. I had to speed it up a bit. So I really went through like 6 different decks between 2 or 3 classes. And then, before this session started, my 30-hour plus I'm still on, I dropped back to rank 18 tempo mage. I was borderline really just like, I'm gonna go play Destiny or whatever, Dominoes. I don't care. I'll deal with TGT, whatever. 18's good. But then I slept, got up, and I said, look, I'm gonna sit down with Face Paladin. I know this deck is strong. I made it. It's mine. I'm gonna make it work. All of a sudden, I'm pushing rank 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13, all the way to 6 within about a 22-hour period. Huge. What I'm used to, right, with a bit of extra acceleration on a good run, a good upswing. I'm currently coming back from the backside of that, right? I'm 10, working on getting back to 9. I know for a fact by tomorrow I'll be 5.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's my rant, but it's also, silver lining. The point is, don't give up. Maybe stop. Maybe think. Don't change every time you lose a couple games. Don't change every time you lose 5 games. Think why you're losing 5 games. Really think about it. Take a night, sleep on it. Sometimes the subconscious can really help you go in the right direction.
Sounds like advice that you should take yourself is sleeping on it. Like, what'd you say you were running on? Like 36 hours no sleep?
At 32, give or take. I'm all right now, but yes, sleep's coming soon. Like I said, I got my second win. This kind of helped. I'm going to play some after this just because I'm feeling it. But as soon as I start...
Before you go to bed, right?
What's that?
You got to wind down before you go to bed.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah, but once I feel that wind down coming, I'm going to cut it. Good night.
Crash, sleep for 18 hours.
Yep. See you guys in a couple days. And then we're going to be rocking, going to Legend. Or trying to get there.
So as an addendum to that, you definitely need to think about why you were losing every game. Make notes on it. I think that's the best advice I could possibly give. I was struggling a lot at the beginning of this season too, just because I was like, I'm at rank 17. Everybody I'm playing is a scrub. And I just stayed at 17, 16, like for a few days. And then I sat down and started playing with a notebook, just like grabbed a pen and a notebook and like wrote down what I was playing against, what I was winning, what I was losing against. And then just one sentence, like, how did I win that game? How did I lose that game? What do I need to do when I'm playing this deck? And you can look back over that again, and like next time you're playing that, be like, all right, look, I played a handlock here, here, and here. This is how I won. This is how I won. This is how I lost. And that's just incredibly beneficial. Just sit with a notebook.
It is.
Write notes.
And for automation's sake, and this is a good plug. These guys have an awesome tool. arenavalue.com. They have, not only does it help you build arena decks, but it tracks, you build your constructed decks. It tracks your deck as you play, and it keeps record, turn by turn, of each match you play. Constructed arena differentiates, and it gives you all your stats for each deck that you play, each match for that deck.
Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Steve,
okay, so my deal is like, oh my gosh, I freaking hate technology. Like seriously, like this morning has been the freaking worst. Like so frustrating. Like, oh my god, I want to pull my hair out. Like I'm through. Like I mean, Tell and I have gone through so much work. Darren has helped out like tremendously. Crouton, sorry. And like I don't know. So Salty's computer, like his sound card stopped working. Like he couldn't hear us, we couldn't hear him. Like that wasn't gonna work out. Like we've spent hours. Darren, especially Crouton, has been like working
downloading all the software that we needed.
Yeah, like
all the things,
tweaking all the sound settings.
Fixed.
Like making. Oh my gosh, like it has been such a struggle to get this content out to you today. And I'm glad that we did it. I really want to keep providing weekly content for everybody. And wow, like
my computer crashed and was down for 30 minutes. Like, it was just like one thing after the other this morning. We normally start recording at 8. We started recording at 10:15. We're normally done at 9:30. It's almost noon. So hopefully we can get this out to you guys tonight. Like,
It'll be out.
I'll have it out tomorrow morning. Like,
It'll be out tonight.
I just
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, like, Crouton's computer crashed twice. Like, oh my gosh, like we have had so many technical issues this morning. So yeah, I mean, it's here. We did it. Good job.
Hooray!
if this isn't the normal audio quality or the normal like just technical quality, I mean, Darren just came in on the fly and like right off of our notes. Salty missed it. I mean, I apologize for anyone who's complaining about the new format. We'll probably be back to normal next week. But before we head out, I want to mention that Darren, who streams on Crouton, once again, Crouton, he is coming up on 300 followers. He's got some exciting prizes that he's giving away when he gets around to 300 followers. He's going to be doing free arena coaching. So help him get up to his 300 followers so he can start giving away cool stuff to all the followers. I mean, it doesn't cost anything. It's free. Just get on Twitch and follow him. It takes 2 seconds. Like, what are you doing?
It's going to be a lot of fun, guys. Our regulars are going to be there, and definitely even the regulars are going to be open to win great prizes. A lot of it's going to be one-on-one time with me, and maybe some other more experienced coaches if I can, talk them into it. But either way, it's going to be great. We're going to have a good time. It's a celebration. I've reached a goal. We've reached a goal, and it means we're going to keep going, and things are going good. So yeah, come on by. It's going to be fun.
All right. You can send your emails to us at topdeckkings.com or at gmail.com, and we'll read them out on the air. You can follow us on Twitter at topdeckkings. Darren, where can people reach you?
I can be reached at MB Crouton, like the food. MB, no space, Crouton on Twitter. Twitch.tv/Crouton. That's CROUNTON. I know it's confusing. Very long story. Come on by. Tell you all about it.
Steve, how about you? How can people reach you?
I can be reached on Twitter at JustSteveHS. How about you, Tel?
All right. I'm on Twitter at TellHS, and I'm obsessively on there. I will be tweeting all day, every day. And that's our show for this week. We'll see you next week. Happy top decking, everybody.
Thanks for listening.
Yep. Have a great day.
Oh,
wow.
I'm glad that's gone.
I know, right?
I felt miserable. I don't know. I think we put out a fun show. It'll be all right.
I don't see anything wrong with it, guys.
Cool.
So I'll go ahead and stop here. Shout out
Great.
to
Hey, thanks so much, man.
Dude,
Like,
thank you so much for getting this
lifesaver.
together. Oh.